All right, so let me kind of start. I know I have a short amount of time, but it's important for me to kind of tell a little bit of a story so I can frame how I got into this whole space and doing what I'm doing with regards to launching H2Crypto, which is a next generation cryptocurrency exchange. So my background is 27 years of financial services. I grew up in the institutional fixed income and derivative world space where I was selling fixed income bonds and derivatives to central banks. Did that for about 12 odd years on Wall Street. I then morphed into alternative investments where I was involved in private equity and hedge funds and real estate and fund of funds. Did that for another 10 to 12 years. And then most recently, I was in private banking. So I have a very, very heavy background of the TradFi world, if you will. I was introduced to Bitcoin in 2015, and I made the very famous comment, and since this is a family show, I will be a gentleman here and not speak too nasty. But I said at the time when I was introduced to Bitcoin in 2015, I said, this is the biggest pile of rubbish I've ever seen in my life. Now, why did I say that? It's quite easy why I said that. I was ignorant. I had no idea. And I had a lot of arrogance and hubris that, oh, I've worked on Wall Street for 25 years. I know everything about all investments. So I tried to actually open an account back in 2015, couldn't figure it out and just kind of forgot about it. And for whatever reason, starting in January of 2020, I just started to go on what I'm calling a knowledge quest. I said, I want to know what the heck cryptocurrencies are all about. And so for me to truly understand what they were all about, I had to start with the foundational blocks or basis, which is blockchain technology and distributed ledger technology. I absolutely started to subscribe to every industry newsletter I could get my hands on, started finding people on LinkedIn, had in-person conversations. I would do online seminars, read books, and I just had this massive aha moment. I mean, massive. And so for my money's worth, I think that blockchain technology will be more disruptive and more transformative to the world than the steam engine, the cotton gin, and most likely the internet. And I think it's honestly a matter of those that know and those that have yet to learn. And once I had this aha moment, this was somewhere around a year ago, summer of 2020, I decided that I wanted to try and open up a cryptocurrency account for my son. And at the time, we went on to one of the exchanges and we had a little bit of issues. We couldn't figure out what we were doing. And he went on the client service help component of this one exchange, and they had an email address. And so we emailed them. I kid you folks not. This was August of 2020. Today is June 23 of 2021, and we are still waiting on that email to come back to us. Okay. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm a 26-year financial service veteran, executive, whatever you want to call me. I have sold derivatives to central banks. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I can at least try and figure out how to open accounts or trade. And we fumbled, we stumbled. We finally got it open. We tried to move money around. We hit buy and prayed that it worked. And we had to wait a few days, and then we finally saw it. And then I had the same experience in December of 2020. So 4 months later with my wife's account. And I know different than anybody else, with the exception of when you come across something and it just doesn't make sense and you say to yourself, there's got to be a better way. And then you vet it with people and find out, yeah, there is a better way. It's just not out there. Then you do something about it. And so this first page on the deck is really trying to hit home with exactly what I'm speaking about. Now, again, what's interesting about what I'm finding in cryptocurrency and blockchain is you have typically in crypto two sets of investors or users or traders. You have people that are coming from the tech world, and you have people coming from the finance world. Finance world makes sense because of markets, and the tech world makes sense because of blockchain and the technology behind it. But every time I talk to people that are in this space and I start talking to them about if they've had issues or problems with accounts, what we're talking about immediately resonates with them. And what we are trying to do is simply come up with a cryptocurrency exchange that, for everything that we have vetted and researched, is right here. It's going to be the first of its kind that offers true live 24/7, 365 client support. The interesting thing about this notion is right here. This is, and I'm not trying to pick on one of our major competitors, but this was a public article posted 3 months ago in the New York Times. And the interesting thing about this article is exactly what we see in all different types of cryptocurrency chat forums. Again, I'm not trying to poke at the competitors, but if you were to Google any type of cryptocurrency exchange and then type in the words client support or customer service after, these entities are being eviscerated. And so it's interesting to us that they haven't done anything about it. In this article, a former lawyer that worked for Coinbase had $500,000, I think to be correct, it was $400,000 locked up on Coinbase, couldn't get a hold of anyone. And this gentleman actually worked there. So what we are trying to do is come in and solve this problem. And this is really big for me because even though I've been in financial services, even though my company is a for-profit organization, there is a bit of an altruistic slant for me. And that is this notion right here. If you look in the world today, we have just under 8 billion. So I rounded up just to keep the math simple, but yet you only have about 100 million people that have any type of exposure to cryptocurrency. So you're talking about a little bit over 1.25. Now, I find it almost heresy or actually ludicrous that the cryptocurrency and blockchain world talks about taking back some of your own power, taking back from the banks, controlling your life. This whole notion about being the captain of your own fate, if you will, and democratizing the financial service landscape. And I agree with that 100%. But yet report after report after report comes out talking about these 100 million people are so low because you do not have anybody there that is there for support. So we are coming in. We think we will absolutely take market share from the current cryptocurrency exchanges in the United States and around the world. But really more importantly, for people that have been sitting on the sidelines, and I would argue that's almost 7.9 billion, for all of those folks that are sitting on the sideline, this is now giving them a little bit of a fighting chance. And I'm not even talking about yet the folks that are underbanked. 1 in 5 people around the globe don't have any access to banking, don't have any access to credit. And the great thing about cryptocurrencies is once you can figure out the on-ramp, then you are the master of your own fate and you can control your destiny. So we have put together a team of myself. I have a chief operating officer that's got about 6 or 7 years in crypto, which everyone on this call knows, that's about half the life cycle. He also has heavy operational support and call center support. I have a chief investment officer that is a 20-year IT guy. He's very heavy in tech security. We have been working on this since January 1st. If all things go according to plan, we will launch sometime in July. We have working around the clock feverishly. And yes, thank you. We just announced and received a pre-seed investment from the 4th most active blockchain venture capital fund. I am hoping, I had a call with them yesterday, I'm hoping by the end of this week, we will have a term sheet for the seed round. We will get funded and be full steam ahead again sometime in early to mid-July. So that is it, and I appreciate the time.